Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. I'm Melissa Wilson and Fox 26 in Houston. So happy to welcome you here today. Let's enrich your soul a bit. If you know or you have a loved one who's ever gotten a little bit older and had to start dealing with something like dementia or Alzheimer's disease, you know how difficult it can be, especially if you want to get them out and about, or perhaps you're trying to connect with them and you're so deeply looking for that. I have two unbelievable ladies joining me here on Lunch for the Soul today who have figured out a way to make that happen. And the founder is here herself, Amanda. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. We've got Amanda Bailey here, as well as Ana Paula Mendez. So happy to welcome you here, a nurse practitioner who has seen your invention come to life and work very well. So I'm happy you're here today.
Thank you so much.
You have come up with a brilliant idea, and we're going to get that into just a moment, but I want everyone to understand how it came about in the first place. It was because of a sorrow in your own life with your mother. Tell us how you went from the oil and gas industry to elder care.
Yeah, so, and I don't know a lot of people that enter elder care without a story. And my story did really start with my mom. My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 1999.
And early in her 60s.
She
too,
was.
right?
She was 68 when she was diagnosed, and she passed by the time she was 73. It was a very fast progressing dementia, which is not typical of the disease, but in her case, they considered it atypical, and she passed relatively rapidly. But the progression of what happened with her. We found little things that really helped along the way. We got very lucky along the way. And we found some things like reminiscence therapy and some other, we didn't know that's what we were doing at the time, but we kind of stumbled into it.
Reminiscence therapy being something that sparks a memory and brings her to life and connects with you too.
Correct. And so my mom went nonverbal very quickly. So we weren't able to have conversation with her, even conversation, about things that she could remember like from way back. We didn't even have that opportunity. So we used pictures to connect with her. And those pictures were mostly pictures of places she and my dad had traveled and pictures of family. And even though she didn't remember the places or the faces, she would smile and we would enjoy the connection.
Show us this unbelievable cognitive memory busy box. It's unbelievable.
The cognitive busy box is designed for people with advanced dementia. Reminiscence therapy is just one item that's in it. It's designed to be multisensory, really.
And I want to make sure that we bring you into this conversation because you have actually seen patients benefit from this, and I know that you love it because it's not just a box that keeps somebody busy, right? It's evidence-based, and that's really important with memory care and connecting with somebody.
Yes, Amanda and I met through LinkedIn, and I saw a post, and I am always to help any of my patients that I can, however I can, thinking outside the box, trying to get them engaged, trying to connect. So I'm an adult geriatric nurse practitioner in internal medicine. And so I got very interested in ways that we can help them connect and also assess their memory, getting them calm when they come to our clinic, since we have to take vital signs and we have to assess their cognition. So having this box really helped the caregiver and also the patient and us. So we can do all of the medical assessments that we can do while maybe they're a little bit distracted.
Preoccupied.
Yeah.
With the box.
And it actually just gives you something to talk about, right? Or to keep them busy. If you take them out to a restaurant, I know that both of you here, families say, we can't go out anymore, we're stuck at home. But then once they got something like this, they were able to actually go out in public and for hours at a time?
Correct. And that's what I kept hearing from people online or families I would work with. They were like, well, I guess we're done going to restaurants. And I thought, that's just such a shame. There has to be a way to... I originally came up with these little cards that they could pass to the waiters and other people that said, I'm with a person with dementia, please excuse any out of context behavior. And so that worked, and I love people use them still to this day, but we really needed something that would help engage the person with dementia.
Let's dig in. I want you to show some of the fun stuff. I know a lot of it's about texture. It's about all kinds of different thoughts.
I'll hold it so you can
there we go.
from the microphone.
So the first thing I want to point out is that we definitely help with guidance, because that's really the important part. We can have a lot of these things and you can get a lot of these things, but without the expert guidance, without the tips on how to use it, it may not be as meaningful. So that we really wanted to make a point of providing that. And to Anna's point, this is evidence-based. So there's a lot of research that has gone into how to present these items to the person with dementia.
And I would think, since there are memory issues involved with most people with dementia or Alzheimer's, this might almost be like a new gift to them every day, right?
Absolutely.
They might not remember. And I remember talking to you about this before, because I thought, oh, they must always go to the same thing every time. But they don't.
Not the
They have a
same.
new favorite one all the time.
It does seem like that. You know, sometimes they'll gravitate this direction or that direction. And sometimes you can see, I noticed that a lot of our gentlemen like the fidget tools, the actual fidget tools. But a lot of times, you know, they'll dive in and they'll pick up something different that they hadn't picked up before. So it's really kind of nice. This is the reminiscence therapy piece of it. So these are postcards, you know, and they're very familiar postcards. They're landmarks, and they're great to talk about. And you know, the Hollywood sign. I remember one time, Mom, I went to go see the Hollywood sign, and we climbed all the way up there. Don't ask Mom to remember it, but you can recall the story, and it's a great storytelling tool to utilize with people with dementia. So that's kind of, I do offer the ability to personalize it too, so you can send me pictures, and I send you back a way to use your pictures in a unique way with your person with dementia.
Nice.
And this is when it's important to actually connect with the family, because if you're in a family gathering, perhaps you know the patient is a grandfather or a grandmother or a great grandmother or great grandfather, and so the kids
gravitate to this, and it makes it intergenerational. It's
So the kids
awesome.
are thinking, oh, this is a fun toy. I
Yeah.
want to play with you,
Yeah,
Grandma.
exactly.
And then Grandma's thrilled, because they might be scared that Grandma's changed a little bit.
And I have had families, you know, write me and tell me, oh my gosh, this was so helpful, because my grandson has always shied away from my mom, and it just broke my heart, because she loves children. But she just wasn't able to connect the way, you know, she would have if she didn't have
What are you
dementia.
holding right now?
This is called an infinity cube. Probably every person who drives in Houston traffic should probably have one in their car.
Stuck in traffic?
It's literally, it just flips on itself, and it's just kind of goes back and forth, and it's called an infinity cube, and it just keeps flipping. But it reduces anxiety. It's a fidget tool. This is my favorite thing.
And Anna, you've even seen this help in a waiting room when they're having to wait for a long time.
Right, that's primarily when we've used it. When they're in the waiting room, or they're coming in and the nurses are getting their medical history, or they're getting their vital signs. And so we give them this just to distract them.
Nice.
Yes, it's, and I personally like the photos, because even when someone has advanced dementia, you can get that glimpse of moment that,
Recognition.
yes. And just that, like the way that they see you, the way that they listen to you, for that, even that second,
Feels so
you
good.
remember that they're there,
Yeah.
you know, and then that second goes away. But it's very nice to actually, as a nurse practitioner, right? We sometimes see the person and the condition, and we go. But when we have little things like this, when we see the soul of a person, you know, from these little moments, that's the important part for me. Anyway.
And then what else? That
Okay,
one looks
so
really
this
interesting.
is called a calming strip. It's literally like a
It's almost like
textured.
Velcro, right?
Yeah, it
Little
is.
bit
It's kind of
rough.
got that Velcro-y texture to it, but it's actually it's really designed for what's called body-focused repetitive behaviors. So people with dementia tend to get really focused on doing certain things like picking at their skin or biting their nails or pulling their hair, and all of those can be very destructive and not healthy for them. If you can replace that behavior with this little strip of paper,
Something that simple makes
something
such a big
this
deal.
simple can make a huge difference. So this is a really
Incredible.
cool tool. This is one of my favorites because this is a lava lamp. who doesn't love a lava,
Well, it
lava
calms
lamp?
me down just watching that.
I mean,
doesn't it?
yeah, and it's handheld. It can be on the table in front of
Uh-huh.
him. It can be sitting in the box. It's a very simple little tool to use, and it's a storytelling thing. You know, I like to, when I'm working with people, I talk about my lava lamp that I had when I was a little girl. So
Well, you also, we'll get into it in just a few minutes, you also help families find care, because that can be, when you're distraught and you've gotten that first diagnosis and you don't know what to do, it takes a lot of guidance. And I want to get to that in a moment, but I want to get into your personal journey of something else you're doing right now. And it's such a fascinating way of how it all came about, starting with a retreat. And it's very personal. Do you feel comfortable sharing that with us?
Yes, sure. So I've always considered myself very close to God, very humble, and I think my entire purpose in life is just to serve. I try to serve others. So I've been a nurse for 7 years, and then I went into my master's as an NP in geriatrics, and just seeing the older persons, listening to their stories, it's just unbelievable to me, and I just love just hearing their long stories and how much they've given to the world that we have. And so it's also very heartbreaking when they come to me, because a lot of them come to me for physical symptoms, but it's very spiritual, and it goes underneath a lot of the burdens that they've been carrying, their families that are broken, their health is compromised. They don't have a lot of the financial resources for Medicare, for medications. Being sick is very expensive. Medications, being healthy, trying to eat healthy is expensive. And so I know that the older persons are being pushed away slowly from society. And that's how they feel. They feel isolated. And these are active, independent adults that they are alone, because their families are in a different country. They're the grandparents that they don't want to also be a burden. But they're at home just watching TV.
And if you talk to somebody who is older, they'll tell you it is the most bizarre thing. I feel like I'm still 20. I can't believe when I look in the mirror that I'm 80, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hear that from loved ones all the time.
Yes.
But other people don't know that they feel that way. And like you said, they're pushing them away. It
Yes.
should come up a way to make them feel
Yes.
better in this world.
So we have had some suicides in the clinic, unfortunately, and we've taken care of the family members of these patients. And we continue seeing their wives or their husbands, And I had one particular one who told me, I just don't have any joy in life anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. And I just hear it all the time. I turned 65. My life is over. There's not much I can do, or that's the saddest part. They just wake up, oh, why did I wake up today? So I happen to have a family struggle with my husband with infertility. We suffered for about 6 years trying to have another baby. We tried to adopt. We went through the fostering program and opened our home for 2 years trying to have a baby, and it just wouldn't work. And it was very stressful in a marriage. The doors keep closing, right? Okay, well, I cannot have another baby. Okay, well, I'll try to adopt. Well, then that doesn't happen. And I'm like, why, God? And so I went on this retreat, and the first thing that they asked me was, what suffering do you want to leave behind? And I said, infertility. And they asked me, what hope do you have? And I said, to understand what God has in store for me. And what fear do you have? And I said, to do what God is asking me to do, why I cannot have another child. And so I was praying in the chapel. It was during Lent, actually, and I was just praying, going over the suffering and praying to God about each of my patients, especially the ones that I had seen, the ones that they're just lost, the widows that are crying in their homes and they think that God is not listening, but He is. And I was just putting all of the faces of my patients praying, and I felt that God told me, please help me save these souls because I cannot lose one more. And it was an inspiration to start like a senior community center where the seniors could come in and we could give them joy.
And you're now bursting at the seams in Cyprus,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So many souls have been saved because of you.
We've had about 200 or so. This just happened last year. And so we called it Joy of Living Club because that's what we want. We just want to have the seniors a purpose in their life. So we've incorporated physical, cognitive, emotional, spiritual, and social programs so they can reach their soul, they can maximize their time on earth, and they can wake up and say, thank you, God, that I get to live, and they can share their mission, they can share their purpose, they can share their talent with other people.
And then there's another miraculous part to this because once you release that and you stop being stressed about everything and you were helping others,
Yes.
you really were helped along the way with your wish.
Yes. I got home. It was like this idea. I cannot explain it. It was an idea. It was a picture. It was an image of this is what my life was. This is the purpose for my life. This is what God created me to do. So I got home and told my husband, we're not having more kids. We're going to move to a different house. We're going to accept our family of 3, and I'm going to work for God. And next month I got pregnant. So yes, I continued going along the way, continued working with Joy of Living, beginning forming a team, getting all the legal paperwork. And so in October, I had my, within 6 months or so, that's when, 9, actually he was born premature. 7 months he was born. And so I pretty much paused Joy of Living for a little bit until, breastfeeding and took care of my baby. But I thought I had left God down a little bit because I was like, why did you give me this Joy of Living? And now I have this other baby.
Because you're a mom, you can juggle both, right? We're multitaskers, and you figured out a way to do that.
I did. And so anyway, 6 months in, I went back, to Joy of Living, and I paid the 501c3. And they told me, oh, it's going to take around a year or so. And I said, okay, God, I waited because I had a baby. You gave it to me. I mean, it's in your hands. Melissa, I got approved in 3 weeks. All the time.
From a year to 3 weeks.
Yes. All the time that I thought I had lost by taking care of my baby.
You didn't. He gave you a year back.
He gave me, yes.
You had a whole
year. So they right after Lent, a whole year, specifically on Lent, Saturday, Holy Saturday, I got my acceptance letter. Congratulations, you have the 501c3.
My goodness.
That's amazing.
And now people have such a beautiful reason to live. And I hope that a conversation like this sparks other communities in the greater Houston area to say, hey, if Cyprus is doing it, we can do it, right? And we're going to get, I think we need Joy of Livings all over the place.
All over the place.
Well, that's why we put a Joy of Living Club. It would be amazing. So the idea is just to get the independent, active adults that are alone, that they actually might not have a church to go to, because a lot of these programs, they already have senior programs in churches, but a lot of them, they don't have church, or they need that extra pull. So that's when the doctors come in. If the doctor tells you, hey, you really need to go to this community center, this is your time. And so we do monthly brunches, and where we invite the seniors and we give them all these activities in all these programs. And we just give them joy.
It's incredible.
We've taken them to the Astros game. We've taken them to the giraffes. Soon we'll go to the zoo. So it's just a way to get the seniors out and give them joy.
And I tell you what will give just all families joy is just knowing how to find those resources, which was why you came up with your other company, Help My Parents. Tell me more about how you're doing that and what kind of resources are available to help people figure out and navigate how to help aging parents.
Yeah, so that's I mean, it's so overwhelming for a family. I was talking to somebody just this morning, and we were talking about how you don't even know what exists out there until you have to step into this world, and you have to navigate it somehow without any context or any preparation. So a couple years ago, I started my company, Help for My Parents, and basically I help families look for long-term care solutions. the dementia side of things is definitely how Anna and I connected because of the I love the tie-in, the fact that the Joy of Living Club is for that active senior, independent senior, but as things progress, we have a part of what we are trying to accomplish that helps them along the way, whether they're the caregiver or they're the patient with dementia. Right. But the Help for My Parents was designed, really to help look for those resources. And I always say we have a business where we help families find long-term care, but we have a social mission to really help families no matter what it is that they need. If they need a connection to a hospice company, if they need a connection to a home health company, if they need a connection to a home care company. I've worked in this industry now for 20 years after leaving the oil and gas industry based on what happened with my mom, and then stepping into this role in senior living. I have resources all over the place. There's no reason why I shouldn't help people with that.
Which is so helpful because it can be so expensive. It can be devastating for families, and you're able
Absolutely.
to help them figure out how to make it all work.
Absolutely. Sometimes, the first step is they need to meet with an elder care attorney. And I have those resources that I like to pass on to families and say, go have a conversation with them, get yourself where you need to be, because as this path continues, you might need to have that stuff in place already. The power of attorneys, the living wills, things of that nature that need to be in place for the caregiver's journey and the person with dementia's journey. Obviously, we help people, whether it be independent living, assisted living, or memory care. We go across the spectrum of all senior care, really, which is why I'm so happy to have connected with Anna a while back, because that's such a great resource for me to share with families.
And I would think that even the families themselves need resources, right? A support group, something to help you through. You can feel so alone, but you don't have to be.
But you don't know where it is.
There are so many people going through it, but
Yeah.
you don't know how to find that.
No.
But when you're in family crisis, it's so hard to even think straight. It's like
Agreed.
Google what, and then you can't find the right resources in your neighborhood.
Melissa, I'll have families reach out to me and they go, my mom doesn't want to talk about this just yet, but I know down the road Dad is going to need memory care, and I just kind of want to go out and take a look at, is that possible? It's like, yes, please do.
Plan early.
Please do. I said, this is not a decision to make in crisis mode. It is a decision to make ahead of that. And if you've done the hard work for your mom, she's going to be so thankful that you did.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it could happen where you need to step in and do this a lot faster than you think you have to do it.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that both of you met. This I think that all of this is so interesting of how we met, because we all met through LinkedIn.
I know, it's
and
so
I don't
strange.
I don't meet that many people through LinkedIn,
No,
to be
I don't
honest.
either.
And I don't think you do either.
I just started it. I'm a new entrepreneur, so no.
I just don't have that much time to check messages, and yours happened to pop up, and I just feel so blessed that I saw it at the moment it came in, and I clicked on it, and we connected, and I just feel like we were meant to be here to have a conversation to help even more people, and I'm so very thankful for that.
Me too. And I said out in the lobby when we were waiting on you, it's like I have a plaque above my door that's actually been above my door when I was an executive director of memory care facilities that says, "The will of God will not take you where his love won't protect you." And I truly believe that. And as I at 56 years old decided to start a company, I like to call myself a late in life entrepreneur. But as I started going down that path, it was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But I do firmly believe that God put, just like you were saying about the purpose. I can't. What happened to my mom, I can't believe wasn't a purpose for me, because he doesn't do things to harm us. He does things to help us.
Well, and I would think that losing a mom is one of the worst things anybody can ever go through.
It changes you.
And to realize how many people you've helped through her life, I would think that brings you peace. It helps.
It does.
The hole in your heart a little bit.
It does. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of my mom. I guess doing what I'm doing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, even if I was doing this. But it does change who you are. And whether you have a great relationship or a not great relationship, because not everybody has a picture-perfect relationship.
Absolutely not.
it does change who you are to lose your mom. And it's true of your father too. I've lost both. But you know, you're actually physically connected to your mom.
Yeah, we actually still, our moms had the cells of their babies still in their body. And I mean, the connection is just absolutely unbelievable. It's unreal. So let's make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you. If they want to look more into the Cognitive Busy Box, how do they find out that?
So the Cognitive Busy Box does have a website. It's called thecognitivebusybox.com. It's pretty simple and straightforward. This is what I call the OG, and we have a light version as well, and then we have a way to personalize it as well. So
and then what if they need help trying to find resources for their parents?
that's helpformyparents.com.
And then if they want the Joy of Living Club, how do we do that?
joyoflivingclub.com, baby.
You both make it super easy. What a joy and what an honor to have you here. Thanks for all you're doing. Well, God bless both of you so very much. You're so precious in this world. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on Lunch for the Soul. Hope to see you back same time, same place next week. Have a beautiful day.